Okay, so guys, you probably think, okay, so this topic, okay, is the Delta Force story, okay? If you guys don't know what Delta Force is, it's pretty much, there is a game, alright, where it talks about like, it's a game in phone and also on computer. It's a really good game, I recommend playing it, okay? So, they don't really talk about the timeline, so I have to do some fucking research about it. Sorry, excuse my language. They have to do I have to do some research about the overall story of it, like the actual like progression to the timeline. All right. This is what I got. All right. So let's start with the little bit of information. Okay. The year takes place at 2035, okay? It is proven, okay, from one of the actual channels of Delta Force, it is proven at 2035, okay? And also the lots of research says it takes place in 2035 or even higher, all right? The reason why 2035 is because this is the year that there is advanced technology to this corporation called Havoc, okay? So, 2035, the war has a mix of modern weapons, but with advanced tech, okay? The state is North Africa, okay? Majority of these cities, the wars takes place near North Africa or South Africa, but I would do North Africa because it mostly takes place in North Africa. The country is the Sahara, alright? The Sahara. So, yes, takes place during the Sahara. Majority of these cities takes place from there, okay? So, you might say, what the flip happened, right? So, the corporation, okay, called Havoc, okay, is attempting to dominate a region's resources, okay, in the political structure, causing a civil war, okay, between them and the Global Threat Association, aka the GTI, alright? So, what they're saying, okay, is that since they evolve modern technology, they advance advanced technology. They want to use that to rule the world. Okay, keep that in mind later. All right. Zero Dam. Okay, you might say, what is Zero Dam? Okay, Zero Dam is an extraction. Okay, it's a game mode in Delta Force where you extract loot and stuff. And you might think, oh, I don't think Zero Dam is technically part of the storyline. It kind of is, but also kind of isn't, okay? Because Zero Dam talks about a little bit of the history, like the actual history of the progression of the ruling of Havoc and what they're trying to do to dominate the world. But it's not proven in actual terms, but it's proven in their perspective, okay? So, there is maps from Zero Dam that is trying to provide Havoc's perspective, Havoc's corporation to rule the world using their advanced technology, alright? The maps that Delta Force has is Ascended, Cracked, Threshold, Shafted, Trench Lines, Fault, Knife Edge, and Cyclone, okay? Let me tell you, okay? Ascended is the mountains, okay? Cracked is the desert, okay? The Threshold, I forgot the Threshold, I think. I forgot that. I think that's the is it's either the train tracks um or the corporation buildings. Shafted is the underground. Trench lines is the trench lines. Okay, fault takes place like in some like it's like it's like it looks like when you see the map, it looks like Italy. All right, you see it. You can see the red symbols. Knife Edge is like the corporation, and Cyclone is pretty much water based map. Okay, so I did pre-start, start, Desert Siege, Battle for the Cities, the preloaded siege, and the final. All right, the finish. Okay, the the climax of unrest to the unrest. Okay, so let's do the pre-start. All right, this is the argue. All right, the argue. Okay, the map takes place on argue is Knife Edge. All right, you might say, why is that? So, Knife Edge, okay, it takes place, okay, it's a place, okay, is the place that Havoc creates their advanced weapons, okay, creates their advanced weapons. You may say, oh, it's Ascended. No. It's Knife Edge. Here's why. So, there is parts of the dialogue that said that they were the ones in Knife Edge that they created they were created the advanced technology. The Havoc Corporation was the one who was in Knife Edge first that they advanced their weapons to. Alright? So, Knife Edge is the reason why it's the first pre-start, alright? Then it's the Ascended. Because the Ascended is where the war erupts. The Havoc forces and the GTI are fighting against each other. The initial states of the conflict represents the more direct confrontations, okay? As each side tries to push through, promoting forward and establishing dominance over key territories, okay? So, like I said, Havoc is trying to rule the world using their advanced technology. GTI doesn't want that shit, alright? So they're pushing back, okay? They are trying their best to push back, okay? Ascended is the one that caused the map. Ascended is the one that created it all, technically. And also, fun fact, Ascended is the first building that directly connects to the Havoc CEO Corporation. That's a nice fun fact. Next, Desert Siege. You probably can guess what it is. Cracked, okay? That is the only map, technically, is the only one, technically, brings down to the actual civilians, okay? So, the actual popular place is fucking cracked, okay? Because it directly connects to North Africa and the Sahara itself. Because, of course, the North Africa is pretty much the desert. Africa in general has desert, alright? So, it really connects to the cracked, okay? Here's the thing. Cracked is important. Like, when I say important, it's really important. Because you can see the effectiveness of the Havoc rule against civilians. That is very true. You can see the impact towards civilians and not just the corporation, but the civilians itself, the actual innocents' lives in danger, at risk, at death, near-death experience. Even children has near-death experience. It's literally a war zone for civilians to live in a cracked or their normal life in the Sahara in general. That's why, even though this right here, the Zesher Siege, is the most important information there is in the Delta Force industry. Alright? Oh my god. When I did some research on that, bro, it actually broke my heart. I was trying to count how many deaths are there. 10,000 deaths per innocent lives. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. That's why crack is the most important map there is in the Delta Force industry. Alright? Next is the battles of the cities, okay? So, the battles of the city maps are Threshold, Shaft, and Cyclone, okay? These are the ones that are evolving the Havoc is evolving more of their tech, okay? So, the fighting continues, okay? As it escalates into densely populated cityscapes, okay? The Threshold, okay? Battle across broken urban zones, okay? So honestly, let me tell you this, Threshold, Shafted, and Cyclone is really not important because the Cyclone, especially Cyclone, it's like a point, it explains a certain point, but not fully the concept of the story, but it's just like a teaser map, alright? So, like I said, Threshold takes place in a city, like LA, for example. It takes place like that. There is cities you have to take away. So, pretty much the concept of this Threshold is pretty much you're trying to dominate the making of technology that the Havoc Corporation is making. All right. Same thing as Shaft, and Shaft is the Shaft is the it moves forward to making more how to change their style of war or style of tech, okay? So Shafted is the only one that the majority of the attack and defense is underground. So why is it not important? Well, the reason why the Shaft map is important because it's underground is that they're actually finding ways to advance their tactical artillery in the Havoc's defense, okay? In the GTI's, of course, the attack. That's why it's important. Next, Cyclone. Really, not that much happening in Cyclone. The map, nothing really happens. But the only thing that is really important is that they're using new vehicles. They're making new vehicles. With this Cyclone, they made jet skis. They gave the people a capability to swim. Yes. You might say, what? That's the only map that people knows how to swim? Yeah. It's kind of weird, honestly. But that's pretty much it. There's nothing really happening to the Battle Cities. It's pretty... Okay. The preloaded siege is like the second important. Okay? Because the preloaded siege talks about the reflective of the warfare, like the classical warfare. So, like World War II, World War I, the D-Day, the Civil War, the Cold War, and so on and so forth. So that's why the trenchlight is the prolonged siege, because it reflects the classical warfare with a modern twist and the high tech. Okay, the reason why it's like more farther is because it's trenches. Okay, okay, when you see some stories, they tend to be like, they have resemblance like a classic warfare near the end of the story. So that's why I feel like it will be near the end because some warfare stories follow the same format, and I'm thinking, yeah, might as well just put it there. It could be here, it could be there, but for me personally, I put it there because it reflects the actual like classic, okay? Like a little hint of nostalgia near the end. It sounds about right, alright? Next is the okay. Next is the climate of the unrest. This is the end, alright? The map of that. I forgot to do Trainwreck though. Trainwreck is pretty much battles of the cities, okay? Same thing, okay? That's really important. But the climax of the unrest is the fall, alright? You may say, how can it be the fall? It was just added, like, I don't know when, I think a month ago, so it's recently new, alright? But it's actually the fall because number one, the fall is the corporation, alright? No, it's the map where it takes place after the cracked, alright? So, how do I say this? Long story short, okay, I think I know the output, okay? What Havoc has a little bit of power, but not full control of their thing. GTI managed to loosen their power a little bit, so Havoc won't rule the world fully, but still has potential power. And that's why during that fall, that it actually happened during the fall. So that's pretty much it. That's the whole Delta Force story that I did about the timeline. I'm not doing this for any assignments. I just did this because I'm bored. Take care, guys.